Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings, everybody. I hope the volume is working now. We had some technical difficulties. Hope you guys are able to hear me. Can you hear me good? Whoever's on. All right. All right. So, what I wanted to express today is a quick word of encouragement to everybody. Because of our insecurities, because of many different aspects, because of our self-worth in our own eyes maybe low, we tend to be more adamant about Yah being involved in other people's lives rather than Yah being involved in our own life. So what I want to do is I want to remind everybody, I was reading through Second Kings, and it showed how beautiful Yah's involvement is with his people. It showed how beautiful it is that he will be involved with each individual. He's not only involved in the putting together of his people, he's not only involved in the cleaning up of his nation. He's not only involved in those things, but he's involved in each individual's lives. This is how he's going to actually clean up his people, is by cleaning up in each individual, and us helping one another in that process as well. So I wanted to point out certain things. I don't necessarily want to go and pull out all these scriptures and verses, but I will. a few verses. In 2 Kings chapter 5, we have Naaman, right? It's not a nation of individuals that have leprosy. It's not a group of Israelites. It's not even a group of Israelites that has leprosy. It's a Syrian or Aramean, who was a general of the army of a pagan nation. He has leprosy, but he just so happened to be in the presence of an Israelite servant, an Israelite servant girl. And it's just interesting how that whole situation, people will look at it and kind of disregard the involvement that Yah is with this one individual. This one individual he desired to bless. This one individual he desired to heal. You have an Israelite servant in the right place at the right time during this individual's time of need, Naaman specifically. Naaman comes to Elisha, and Elisha doesn't even greet him at the door. So Yah is dealing with his pride. Is he going to be so consumed in his pride as being a top general? He got upset because he didn't come out to greet him himself. So you have that working in his mind. On top of that, he gives secondhand instructions. Go dip yourself 7 times in the Jordan and you'll be free. You'll be cleansed. To the point where he was headed back home. He was just like, this is disrespectful. I got better rivers in my own hometown. That his servant was like, think about the possibility. Humble yourself and think about the possibility. And we see how Yah is working on not only this person's healing, but this person's pride. And Yah is just focused on this one individual, and everybody's watching this one individual, which is another point. Yah using this one individual to touch and reveal who he is to many individuals around him. So he then listens, he receives cleansing, and from that point on, he's just amazed at the Most High, amazed to the point where he's like, "This is the only one. I don't want to serve these other Elohim. Matter of fact, he even asked Elisha to pray for him because he was gonna have to go into these temples with the Aramean king. He's gonna have to go into these temples with him as the high general. So he was just like, please ask for a pardon from me, you know. But just that one person that he would whole nation, he's looking at that one person. And not only that one person, this is so we could understand he's not consumed with one person, and he's not consumed with just a whole group. He's consumed and concerned with each individual. um Chapter 4, you see him dealing with Second Kings chapter 4. He starts dealing with these different widows. Even in the time of Elijah in First Kings, you have Elijah coming to this widow's house. Yah sends him there specifically, like, go to the widow's house. Go to the widow's house. He goes to the widow's house. He says, what are you guys doing? He said, I'm gonna make this. This is the last bread. It's a drought. I'm gonna make this last bread for me and my son, and then we're gonna die. And he says, make me a bread first. And he's recognized as the Most High, as a man of Yah, man of Elohim. So he's like, she's in her mind, she's like, okay, this is a man of Elohim, so I'm gonna do what he says. She does it, and then the oil and the flour that she uses to make this bread for the man of Elohim continues to flow until the drought is completely over. It never runs out until the drought is completely over and she's able to provide for herself. Just as one person with her son, this widow. Second Kings chapter 4. There was another widow that had a debt. Her husband died, she had a debt, and these men came to take her 2 sons. Yah is involved. Yah gets involved. Sends Elisha to this person's house. A person is asking, hey, what can I do? They're going to take my 2 sons. So Yah blesses this woman with allowing her to receive this oil, to fill up jars of oil for her to sell so she can pay off her debt and then have more than enough for herself. Another woman that was barren, her and her husband, they didn't have a child. She was barren. Prayed to Yah, asked Elisha to pray on her behalf so she can have a son. And she was able to have a son. And not only was she able to have a son, but when her son died from a sickness, Elisha came to, as they were proving another work of faith, another work of proving who Yah is. Elisha comes, prays, intercedes, and resurrects this child for her mother, the same mother that was barren. So I know all of us remember Jeremiah 29, verse 14. And it says, not 14, Jeremiah 29, verse, I believe is it 11? Yeah. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. Everybody knows this verse. It says, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith Yahuah, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected future. So everybody knows that when he thinks about you, he has an expected future for you, right? So sometimes we walk around thinking that, he only is talking about like the kingdom. He's talking about the end. But let me show you another verse. Let me show you another verse in the book of Psalms. In the book of Psalms, chapter 139. And I want you guys to keep this in mind of how much Yah is involved with you, with each individual, each person that serves him, each person that calls on his name, each person that searches his word. And he's concerned with you specifically, and he will move everything out the way for you. Let me go to Psalms 139, looking at verse 17 and 18. Check this out. It says, how precious also are your thoughts unto me, O Elohim. How great is the sum of them, or the amount of them. If I should count your thoughts, they are more than the sand. And when I wake up, I am still with you, meaning like I can go to bed and I can wake up and I'm still on your mind. So when you think about his thoughts towards you are like the sand of the sea. So there's this constant reflection, this constant thinking, what can I do for you? What can I do for my son, my daughter? How can I deliver them? How can I empower them? How can I strengthen them? How can I guide them? How can I teach them? How can I protect them? How can I provide for them? All of these thoughts constantly in Yah's mind about you specifically. To think that he's only concerned with the collective group is it's losing sight of how involved Yah actually is with your own personal life. But when we have that idea that he is involved with our own personal life, praise Yah. Well, when we have that idea that he's involved with our own personal life, we are able to walk in those promises. We're not looking at any verse of scripture and pointing it to, yeah, that's for him over there. And that's for them over there. You talk about the priesthood, the promises to the priesthood. Those priesthood promises is not just for the Levites. That they'll be able to distinguish between the profane and the holy and the set apart. They'll be able to bless it. Like, we are involved in a priesthood. We are involved in a kingship. Is it just for the kings and queens that they live by every word of the Torah, that they walk according to the Torah and receive the blessings? No, it says we are kings and queens as well. We are priests as well. Every promise in the scripture is for you. Don't think about it, oh yeah, that's for everybody. If we stop thinking about who cares about everybody, who cares about everybody, Yah's concerned for you. For Yah so loved the world, he sent his son. Yeah, he loved the world that he sent his son. This world is filled with individuals. He saw individuals in need. So when we are consumed so much with what Yah is doing for other people, what Yah is doing, there's so much thoughts that he has towards you in these times of trouble, in these times of trial. There's so much thoughts that he has for us. It's impossible for us to think that he's gone, that he's not with us. His promises, I will never forsake you. Messiah promised, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So we have to understand that he's not involved with Israel. He's involved with me and you. And we all the individuals he's involved in make up Israel. So we need to make sure we're not pushing off his promises to a collective group, or even pushing off his promises to a certain type of individual, a certain tribe of individual, a certain worker. He's not doing that. He's focused on you. He's focused on the widow. He's focused on the orphan. He's focused on the oppressed. He's focused on the brokenhearted. What does it say in Isaiah 61? Let's go to Isaiah 61. Isaiah 61, verse 1. The spirit of the master, yahuah, is upon me, because yahuah have anointed me to preach good tidings to the meek. He have sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, to the opening of the prison to them that are bound. Is he talking about like actual prisons? Messiah read this when he went into the synagogue. Did Messiah go walking up to the prisons, opening the door, even though that happened in the book of Acts? Was that what he was coming for? What were we imprisoned by? Mental prisons? He came to open that. He's not giving this issue to you to go try to figure out how to be free from these things. It says to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuwah and the day of vengeance of our Elohim, to comfort all that mourn, not only the collective group, every individual, to appoint unto them, verse 3, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the ruach of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of Yahuwah, that he might be glorified. Praise Yah. This is a promise for you. This is a promise for each individual. This is not a promise for the collective. Each individual creates the collective. each member of the body creates the body. The body is a plural, is everything put together, but each part has to be taken care of. Yah is focused on taking care of each part of Israel, not just the collective body. So don't keep reading the scriptures like it's talking to them. It's talking to you. It's talking to you, and read it like it's only talking to you, and receive it like it's only talking to you, and accept it like it's only talking to you. You know what I mean? So I hope that you guys are encouraged. Praise Yah. Um, this was consuming my mind for quite a while. And I hope that it'll be a blessing, meditation to you guys as well. So praise Yah and shalom, everyone. Peace and blessings.